Okay guys, so I am doing an arbor, my DIY arbor. I'm using brackets from Easy Frame. I got these originally because I was going to be doing a greenhouse using them, because they're designed to be used with 2x2s. But that's going to add up, and on top of that, I think if I want to do a greenhouse, I want something that's going to have utilities in it. I think it's just going to be better for what I need it. So I'm reusing the brackets for other stuff because I have other types of brackets, and so I'm going to be figuring out creative ways to make wood structures for support and that sort of thing around the garden. But right here, this is an arbor, and so I'm using U-posts to make sure that it stays put. These are 8 feet tall. I'm not sinking into the ground because that's the point of the U-post. I know right now I've got some of them zip tied. That was because I was doing this and it started raining and I didn't have time to screw it in. I'm actually going to get a bigger U-post and to put where the legs are. And once I screw that in, it'll be nice and secure and I'll hold it in place. I'm going to paint everything blue, and I think I'm actually going to paint the U-post blue as well. Well, it's called Vintage Periwinkle, so I'm going to paint everything Vintage Periwinkle here, and so it's going to be periwinkle. And then for the fencing, I'm using this 6 foot poultry netting. The poultry netting is about 1 inch, so it'll keep out rabbits and probably not chipmunks and squirrels and that sort of thing, but definitely rabbits, because that's going to be the big thing. And it should keep out deer, and especially when I start growing, another thing that's nice about it is that I can grow vines on it. And so when deer see a solid barrier, they don't jump over it because they don't know what they're going to be landing. So that'll also help keep the deer out. So I'm going to get a gate, but with the gate, I'm actually, instead of putting it directly at the front, I think I'm actually going to put it in the middle, between these two, the middle green parts. And then I'm going to get elevated beds. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 foot or 1 foot, but I think I'm going to put one here, one there, and I may get one for each side here. Everything in front of the gate is going to be a flower bed, but I'm thinking about putting maybe a raised bed and doing some sort of vine, like a clematis or something, or if I get the 2 foot high stock tank, I could probably do a rose that'll grow over. I mean, granted, I could just put the rose in the ground because the dirt back here is pretty good, and just have a nice rose growing over the arbor, that section of the arbor, before you get into the vegetable garden. So I think it'll look pretty nice. I think along the outside edge, I'm gonna have raised beds so I can use that the poultry netting as a trellis, and then I'll have beds in the center. So, and of course, like I said, I'm going to take it eventually almost to that white clean out pipe back there. So, I have space. Eventually, when I take up that pavement, I may actually just remove what's back there and just put it onto the side, because I think that'll look nice. So, it's a start, people. It's a start. So, that's it for right now. So, this weekend I got to clear out the raised beds I have and get all these little vegetables in and fertilized so I can start getting some produce. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Good morning, guys. It's Brooke here, and it's Saturday, and I gotta get cracking on the vegetable garden. I do have some plants left to plant, but they are really tiny, and so I need them to get bigger. Actually, there's a couple ones that are bigger I could put in now, but I really need to get cracking on the vegetables, because with vegetables, the later you get them in the ground, the later your harvest is going to be. I'm sorry if I'm flipping all around. I'm using my steady stick, and I'm stepping off of the curb. So let me turn it around and show you what I got to deal with today, y'all. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, guys, so this right here is my vegetable garden. Yeah, so last year I didn't grow any vegetables because I was too busy doing the parterre garden, but I got to get this cleaned out because this is going to be the spot for this year. So I'm going to pull out my weed whacker. I have a Craftsman line trimmer. I actually replaced it with a brush blade, and I'm going to come in here. I do feel bad about ripping that out because that's like verbascum. But you know what, guys, I have so much of it around the property that I'm really not going to be upset. I'm just gonna tear it out. So I just wanted to give you guys a before so you guys can see how bad it looks right now and how it's gonna look when it's over. That over there was what they ripped out when they were putting the solar panels on the top of my carriage house. I'm sure you guys can see it, and I should have told them where to put it. They just left it there, so now I got to go drag that out of the way. So there are some, that's like, you know, leaves and stuff, so I'm going to pull up a trash can. So anyway, guys, I got my work cut out for me today, so I'm going to go get my sun hat, my gloves, and that sort of thing, and I'm gonna get started. So I'm not gonna put it on time lapse because my battery is almost dead, but I'm just going to I'll come back when it's done, guys. So I'm not looking forward to this at all, as you can tell from the way I'm panning instead of actually working, but it's got to be done. So well, let me show you actually my Craftsman trimmer. So this was a string trimmer, but as you can see, oops, that's a brush cutting head. So that's what I got. So it should make short work of everything. So actually, let me turn the camera around. Okay, guys, so when I'm doing anything with a weed whacker or that sort of thing, just a few safety things. I mean, I wear glasses, obviously, but I'm going to be wearing a forestry helmet with ear protection and a face shield because stuff does fly back. Don't have your kids out around when you're doing, even if you're not using a brush, like a brush cutter head, you shouldn't have your kids or pets around because it can throw things. I am wearing some work boots that I got from Tractor Supply. They go almost to my knees because sometimes I find, not so much with the brush attachment, but especially with the trimmer, I would find that sometimes it would actually hit me on the shins, and it could leave welts or cut you, especially if you're wearing shorts a lot. When I do this, I'm always wearing pants. I never do this wearing shorts, and like I said, I'm always wearing like knee-high boots. I'm gonna put something on my arms. Even though I have farmer's defense, I'm actually gonna put a sweat jacket on, and like I said, I'm gonna be wearing head and face protection, because, like, for example, my uncle, who's a doctor and should know better, was doing some weed whacking and something hit him in his eye, and he didn't lose his eye, but there was some swelling, I guess, on the optic nerve, so he was like blind in that eye for a few days, and eventually his sight did return. But just be careful, and like I said, be careful of your kids and your pets. So when I'm doing this, I don't allow the pooch outside. I make him stay inside. He doesn't like it, but you know what, at the end of the day, it's all about safety. So let me put this down and let me get my protective gear on, and I will see you guys later. Okay, guys, ta-da! So I got 5 of the beds cleaned out. That last one, there's other stuff in it that's tangled up. That's gonna take a while, so I'll do that one later, but I think 5 should be good. With the vegetables that I have, I'm gonna go through because I am giving some of what I have. There's still other people who have yet to get some. So I'm gonna take out the ones that I'm giving away and then plant the rest. So, yeah, so that should go pretty well. So I am really excited. So I just got to clean up that, those leaves. There's a lot of leaves behind that thing. So I tried moving some of those branches. I think I'm just gonna call my tree company out just to have them clear that out, because some of those pieces are kind of heavy and I don't know where to put it, so they can deal with that. And then yeah, so I'm going out. I'm gonna track down some potting soil, because the soil level in that has like gone down, and so I don't think something like my corn is gonna work. So I'm gonna have to plant the corn in, like, I have 5-gallon like fabric bags. I need something deeper than those beds right there. So and I also need to get some Dr. Earth vegetable fertilizer. So it's the height of the day, so I mean, the temperature's not too bad, but you do feel it when you're standing out in the sun. So I'm gonna get the stuff, and then I'll plant later on in the day once the sun goes down and the temperature starts cooling off. And yeah, this section right here, there's some cups. I probably need to just like use a hard rake to get it out first, and then use my whatchamacallit thing, my brush cutter attachment, and then what I'll do is I'll mow, because that's what I did. I used the brush cutter, and then I took my push mower and I mowed that down. That's how I got it low, and then the rest of the stuff I just pulled out by hand. So yeah, so anyway guys, I'll check in with you guys later. Good morning guys. So it's Monday morning. Ooh, the sun is from that window right there is blinding. So let me show you. I haven't gotten as far into the vegetable garden as I should, but I got one bed planted, so let me show you that. I do have some other flowers to plant, but I'm going to take a slight break because I need to get my vegetables in, because I need some harvest. Because have y'all seen the prices lately in the stores? It's ridiculous. But anywho, let me turn the camera around. Okay guys, so here is the one bed that I've done. So I started off by using some Dr. Earth fertilizer for vegetables. I used the vegetable fertilizer because it has calcium. And the last time I grew in these beds, from what I remember, I had blossom end rot, which is a calcium deficiency. So I just did some of that. So the back row is corn. And then the next row are tomatoes. I'm going to put stakes behind them. And then in front of that are some peppers. And then in front of that are some squash and vines. So I'm just going to let them trail out this way. So I used, instead of newspaper, the packing newspaper, because it's more expensive, I found a nice alternative. It is contractor paper. So it's like newspaper, but it's thicker. And so they actually recommend using it for weed barrier. So I'm going to be trying that all out in the garden in certain places to see how I like it. I think it's going to work really well. So I'm going to cover this with wood chips. So when it comes to like weed suppression, I know some people use straw. I used it one year. I didn't think that it was great in terms of weed suppression. It was great early in the season. Once the season started going, it did nothing. And it's one of those things that breaks down super quickly. I'm going to use some of the wood chips that I have. This is untreated wood chips. This is just when they took a tree down, they just chipped it. It's going to break down. It's going to enrich the soil and, break down by the end of the season, but it'll be enough just to keep the weeds down. Now, when wood chips break down, they do use a lot of nitrogen. But because I put that layer, but that's if you work them into the soil, which I'm not. I'm using it on the top like mulch. The other thing is there's that paper separating it, so it's not like touching the soil. So I should be fine, but I'll watch it. With the vegetables, because that's a raised bed, I'm gonna have to fertilize it more often. So I'll just keep, I'll monitor it. If I start noticing the flower, the plants are looking yellow with the nitrogen because of nitrogen deficiency, then I'll take the wood chips out. But I think it's going to be fine. I think this is I don't think this is really any different from mulch. It's just it's not dyed and doesn't have chemicals in it. So if you want to use if you don't want to use chipped wood, you could also use cedar mulch. That's fine to use in vegetable gardens, especially if it's got to be undyed cedar mulch, because some of that they do use. But I've used cedar mulch in vegetable beds before, and that works fine too. So I am going to find my trying to remember where I put my Gorilla cart. I think I left it in the backyard. And okay, there's my Gorilla cart, and let me go get one of my shovels, and I'm gonna see if I should be able to get that done before work today. So anyway, guys, I'll come back in a minute. Okay, guys, good morning. So I have fertilized and lined and mulched this bed. I did that one over there. I'm going to start planting it now. I think it's actually easier just to go ahead and line it and mulch it first, and then just move the stuff out of the way to dig the hole. So let me show you what I'm going to be planting. Okay, guys, so I got to start moving through these things a lot faster. So I have some additional tomatoes in the back. Actually, I even have some here. I'm going to plant 8 of them, because I'm going to plant them, space them, and do like square foot gardening. So I'm going to plant 1 of them in each square. And then in that bed, I think I'm actually going to plant some peppers on either side. Do I have any? I think I may have planted all the squash, or maybe that's some right there. Those right there look like cucumbers to me, I think. So I'm going to start getting this in the ground, and then I plant some of the peppers. Actually, you know what? I think that the cucumbers I'm going to leave, because one of the raised beds actually has kind of a thing set up so I can trellis it. So I'm just going to put the tomatoes and peppers in that one bed. Actually, you know what? I have a basil inside. I'll put the basil in there. That's watermelon. I'm going to put that elsewhere. I did get a pile of dirt, so I have containers I can fill up around the house. Also, I have grow bags, so a couple things I might do in there, because I do have, like, for example, strawberries, but I'm not going to put the strawberries in the bed because I don't want to have to dig them out at the end of the year. So anyway, oh, actually, you know what? I think there's some tomatoes back here too. There are. So I'm going to get started on this. First, I'm going to get some coffee. So I need to make more progress, because this weekend is the flower show, and so I'm not going to be out in the yard, obviously. So I need to get cracking, people. The past couple days, I've just been feeling very, very, very lazy. Oh, and like, for example, look at this. These are my phlox. They're starting to bloom in there. They shouldn't be doing that. So I got to get those in the ground too.